And I called the poison control hotline, was like, exactly how many pills do I need to take to kill myself? And the lady said, I'm not going to tell you how many pills for you
Thank
to
God
take
for
to
that
kill
lady.
yourself.
Yes.
This is
Treehouse Vibes,
Best Friends,
Uncut,
your raw and unfiltered girl talk podcast. Welcome,
Hey, y'all.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Treehouse Vibes podcast episode 3.
3 of them things.
So, can you believe we actually 3 episodes in?
No.
Like, it's kind of like...
No. Yeah, it is.
Like we said we was going to do it, and like to say we're in episode 3, it's just kind of like...
Yeah, and the feedback we've been getting is like really great. So thank you for everybody that has tuned in to our previous episodes. We appreciate you. We love you. Right.
Heart
emoji. So yeah, again, thank you again. We really, really appreciate this.
And for anyone this is their first time listening, I am your host. I'm Brittany, and this is...
I am Kristen, your co-host.
Yes, and if you want to continue following us, you can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yeah, Apple Podcasts. So for those who don't know, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month in this country. So we will be discussing mental health, talking about our personal journeys with mental health and coping skills, the impact of social media, how to check on your friends and loved ones, and all of that good stuff. So I wanted to start off the podcast today, starting with a question that we probably should ask each other more. Like, how is your mental health right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, like, how would you rate how you feeling these days?
I am at a 9.
9
I'm
is
at a
a
9.
good...
Yes.
What?
I am at a 9. I am recognizing what triggers me. I am setting boundaries. I am making sure I take care of me. And I'm just leaning on my faith. Like, God got the will in my life right now. So
Yes, God.
I am at a 9, and I am really excited about that 9.
9 for 1 out of 10 is like...
Yeah. And I can say that, like, I can stand 10 toes down on that. Like, I am at a 9, and I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so how, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say you land at?
I would say I am at a 8.
Okay.
I want to say 9, but 9 sounds really close to 10, so It sounds scary or intimidating or whatever. So I'm just going to say I feel like I'm at an 8.
8 is good.
8 is good.
8 is great still. Like, if you ask me, 8 is great.
Like, 8 is good.
Right.
So I feel clear. I feel hopeful for the future. I feel like my path is aligned right now. Like, I'm walking in the walk that I need to be walking on. I've been spending time with my loved ones, and with people who love each other, and just getting poured into and pouring at the same time, and giving God His good glory.
Hello?
So,
because don't nothing shake without Him. So
it don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing shakes without Him. I truly believe that considering my mental health journey, which for everyone listening, I would say early 20s, maybe like 22, 23, 24, something like that. I suck at dates. But I had a really difficult battle with mental health. So with my mental health, my biggest struggles were anxiety and depression. So at about... again, like maybe 24-ish, I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. I was diagnosed with a depression disorder. And that just spiraled a whole sequence of events. So for me to say, or for even you to say, for people to say that their mental health is at a 8 or a 9, it's like...
mind blowing. Like, for real.
It's like, how did you do that?
Right.
Like, how did you even come to walk into that?
So what did your battle with your mental health look like?
So it started off, I actually believe I was pretty depressed even as a child, but I didn't know the word for depression. But looking back at things I used to do as a child, I was probably depressed growing up. And I mean as early as like elementary school. Like I was a very introverted child. I was very secluded. I didn't and isolated. I didn't go outside. I didn't play. I didn't watch kids stuff. Anything that involved children, I didn't relate to at all. I was just like in this little bubble all by myself all the time. I take NyQuil to go to sleep. Like little weird stuff. Like little stuff that is not normal for children or whatever. So I recognized that. And then so when my 20 somethings came and I had a major death in the family, which was my grandma, that was like the catalyst. It was like my entire world flipped upside down. So from that moment, it was a grief-stricken depression / anxiety. So it started off with just like, oh, I'm just like in this funk. I'm slow. Like I'm moving so slow, but the world around me is moving so fast. I remember I was sitting at a restaurant one day and like I'm looking out the window and like the cars are moving so fast and they're probably just going like the regular 45 miles per hour, but like in my mind they were speeding.
Yeah, zooming past you.
The waitresses, like, the people, the noise, the clinking, clacking of the like silverware and everything. Everything was heightened. My senses were so heightened, and I just felt like I was in this world, but not really. And then from that moment, I had an issue at work when I had my first panic attack. And that, I called my mama like, something wrong with me. Like, my heart, like, I feel like my chest hurt or whatever. I can't really breathe. I was working at the call center. I had to get off the phone. And she was like, I think you having a panic attack or anxiety attack. And I'm like, what's that? And, like, she a nurse, so she could explain it some. But, like, well, she ain't really know what to tell me about it. And I didn't know what to tell. I didn't know how to move with it. And, like, the one anxiety attack a month became one anxiety attack a week or a day. And it got to the point where I couldn't work. I would leave work. I would pull up to the job, couldn't get out the car. I would just be completely and utterly like, and I can't even explain the franticness that like sets in. It feels like you're at an all-time panic and like the whole world is caving in on you and your body is fighting against you and there's like nothing you can do about it. And that set off a level of depression because I'm a Virgo. I'm a very planned and analytical person. I like to be in control of my shit and what's going on in my life. And I was completely out of control. And it was nothing I felt like that I could do about it. It was like my mind and body has a mind of its own. I can't take care of myself. I was on disability. Like, I'm 23 years old and I'm sitting in my house waiting on a disability check, trying to explain to parents and friends, like, I literally cannot go to work. Like, it was by far the darkest time frame of my life, mainly because of lack of knowledge and lack of support in some ways. So I no longer have, thank the Lord.
Come on.
I no longer have. Come on. Yes, I no longer have anxiety disorder. I no longer have major battles with depression. When I say major, I mean in the fact that it directly impacts my day-to-day life. I don't have those problems anymore. So that's a good thing. So,
that's a great thing. That's an amazing thing.
Well, yeah,
that's a blessing.
That's an amazing thing. It's quite the deliverance. But so, what has your battle with mental health looked like?
So I would say my darkest or lowest moment was, I would say, like 12 years ago. I just was like, nothing made me happy. Nothing made me happy. And I'm doing the same thing that I've been doing, but I no longer am getting pleasure out of this. And the not being able to work, I literally, to describe it, felt like I wanted to like rip my eyes and my ears out. Like seriously, because
Yeah.
at that time I was in a call center, so I needed my ears, and I just wanted to take them. Like it was so dark, and it's like you can't do this because you have bills.
Right.
You have bills. You got things that got to get paid, and the only way to do that is through going. And I literally could not go to work. I wasn't diagnosed with anything, but I knew what that looked like, and that's also being in your life when you was going through that, and us communicating about what that looks like. And then I had to do my own like research, because this is an unfamiliar feeling, and it wasn't just like a temporary feeling. It was lasting way too long. Like I felt no joy in nothing. Everything was negative. It was really, and if you know me, that is just not me. Like I am
super introverted. Super extroverted, super people person.
Yeah, like I could find a positive in any situation. I just was so dark and low, and I felt uncomfortable and outside of my body. Like it was just like, it's still hard to kind of like even explain what that felt like. I felt like the people that, my friends and family, I felt detached from them, and not because they're detaching from me. It was literally me detaching from myself. And hindsight, I was able to figure out that at that point in my life, I was overdoing what I was supposed to do. And that goes into like the whole career or the way to do life, like how they tell you you're supposed to do life. I was done doing it like almost like the traditional way in a sense. And it just was like, I don't like this job. I don't want to go to this job. This job pays my bills, but
F this job.
But F this job. And I literally stopped going to work. And it just was like,
I remember that.
Not even thinking about how a bill was going to get paid. Like that was the least of my worries. I was thinking about how am I to survive the day. I got to the point where I was isolated, so I wasn't hanging around like I normally was. Because, you know, at that point, we was hanging around every single night. Yeah. I wasn't doing that. I literally spent, I would say, almost like a week in my room. I literally spent a dark week in my room, to the point where the room then moved to the bathroom. Now, at the lowest point, staring at a medicine cabinet. And it's just like, yo, what is going on? I could not shake it to save my life. Nobody could tell me nothing. It was just like everything around me was just like so dark. So dark. Like it was just, even now just thinking about it, like it's just is like really chills, because it was like a really dark and low place. And I don't know anybody that's ever been through that either, outside of you. I don't want to trigger you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you're still going through it too. So it was just really a dark moment. But by the grace of God, because I literally owe it all to God. I was in my bathroom and I literally cried out to God, like, I need your help. I'm staring at a medicine cabinet. I need your help. And literally, like, I won't even say like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes past, a friend called me. And from that conversation, that actual conversation literally got me up out of it. And it's weird because I've had conversations with my friends, but everything that was happening and going on, it was just always like negative. And I was even blaming people, like they don't even notice that I'm going through, like for real. Like they don't even, how it be. You get so resentful. They don't even notice that I'm going through this. They haven't even seen that I've changed my ways or whatever. And from that one phone call, it got me up off that floor. And obviously with other work, but that took me out of the immediate dark moment that could have ended my life.
It was like a snapback.
Yeah.
Like, come up out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like God was like, nah, baby, come on, get up off that floor.
Yeah, I cried and he answered immediately.
Right.
Immediately, because it was that dark. Like, yeah, so.
You think it's spiritual? Depression. I think it is.
I think it has some. And in my testimony, I'm going to absolutely say yes.
I think it can be. I don't want to downplay anybody that may have, a chemical imbalance or something like that. But for our experience, yes, I agree. I think that is a spiritual element to it. Like, it's like you got this heaviness, this monkey on your back, like we say in the country. Like, you got this thing and it got to get off of you. And like you said, how you cried out or whatever, like you really have to like lay it all out there and give it to God and really surrender to it in a way.
It's almost like if I didn't cry out, I was gonna stay there, or worse. Almost like you have no other option.
Right.
You can't shake it by yourself. You have no other option.
Right.
And immediately. And I know that doesn't look like immediate for some people, but in my situation, it was an immediate answer to my prayer, literally.
And I think is what am I trying to say? I think that it's actually good that you grew up in a family that's faith-based and going to church and things like that, because you immediately knew to turn to God, or it was innately in you. Something drew you immediately to something that was familiar to you or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like muscle memory. And because in that same exact situation, I didn't grow up in a family. Not like my grandmas didn't went to church, but my immediate household, my parents didn't go to church. So I always loved God or whatever, but I never really had a relationship with God. So it wouldn't have been muscle memory for somebody like myself. So in that same instance of being in the bathroom, I didn't cry out to God. That was the furthest thing from my mind. I was absolutely hopeless. Like, God, nobody could save me at that particular moment. And I want to say that I feel like anxiety is like when your mind is constantly telling you a lie that makes you snowball. Like you think of worst case scenario and you get stuck in this pit of just snowballing and like this domino effect of everything just kind of crashing down. Where depression is more so like the absence of hope. And you being in your bathroom, me being in my bathroom, it was a hopelessness there. There was a darkness there. And I think people don't fully give, I don't want to say respect, because I don't think respect is the right word, but that's what I'm going to use for right now. Like, they don't give the proper respect to that darkness. People from the outside. It's like when you're telling them what you're going through or whatever, like, I just feel so dark. I just feel blah, 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 blah. And they're just like, oh, well,
it'll get better.
No. Hear me when I say I am in the dark. Listen to me. Like, you're not hearing me. And I felt like, because I had psychiatrists, I had psychologists, I was in therapy, I was on all types of meds. This med isn't working. It's not working out well. So you give me a different med. That med isn't working. Give me a different med. Okay, so this one ain't working either. They upped the dose, lowered the dose. Like, it just went over and over for a long time, just trying me on these different meds, which make you feel funny. And then one of the major, just so y'all know, one of the major side effects to anti-anxiety and antidepressant medication is anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideations. So here I am on my third or fourth medication. I'm in the bathroom, same bathroom you speak of. And I was like, fuck this. And I really believe that it was all because of my medication. It could not have been, but I'm blaming it on the meds. If they work for you, great. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay on your regimen. It did not work for me. And I think it was because I actually did not give it I didn't give it time. They say medication for that type of medication that you have to take every day. You have to take it every day, consistently, for about 3 to 4 months for it to actually kick in the way it's supposed to. And I kept telling my doctor, my family, everybody, like, I ain't got 3 months. This isn't going to work. Like, this is not making me feel better. Like, I'm feeling worse. And long story short, I took all my pills. Like, every bottle that was in there that had something in there. I don't know how much was in there. I went in the bathroom, I opened all of them. And I took every last 10 pills here, 15 pills there. I took all my pills. And I laid down, put on the food channel, and went to sleep. Well, I think I might have texted somebody or called somebody, but I went to sleep. And then when I woke up the next day, and that's where the God part come in. Because I woke up the next day like,
why am I still here?
Yeah, like, this ain't how it's supposed to go. Like, this is weird. Okay, so I'm here. I'm up. Whatever. I don't feel good at all. My stomach fucked up. I feel terrible. I go to work. Like, it is just the most mind-blowing thing to even think about to me. Like, I got up and went to work, and was like, I just don't feel good. I feel terrible. And then I was like, okay, so I'm leaving. And I called the poison control hotline, was like, exactly how many pills do I need to take to kill myself? And the lady said, I'm not going to tell you how many pills
Thank God for that lady. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because I was like, I'm just flabbergasted. I'm completely numb. I'm just like, the lights is on, but ain't nobody home. Yeah, I tried work, ain't work. Okay, so I made a mistake. I lied. I made a mistake and took too many pills. So do I need to get my stomach pumped or what? Because I don't feel good. Well, no, because if you took them this many hours ago, then it's already digested. You can't get your stomach pumped. Okay. And like, it just set off a whole wave. It was immediate for you. It was years for me. I relocated. I came home. My family. Thank God for my sister. Like, it was a journey. It took a long time. Like, it was horrible.
And that just goes to show that everybody is affected differently when dealing with mental health. It doesn't look the same.
No, there's no one size fit all. Oh, you can't be depressed or have anxiety problems or whatever your issue is, because you don't look like blah blah blah. That's cap. I don't even like using that word,
but it's cap. So out on the other side of our lowest and darkest moments, so what would you say are good ways to help with coping with mental health?
I would say go to therapy. Be open to therapy. If you don't go into therapy with an open mind, with vulnerability, with transparency, and just willing to like leave it all out, it's not gonna do you any good. Like, if you're gonna go in with any type of apprehension, you're wasting your time and your money. Also, I would say go into therapy knowing that you are the boss. These people are hired personnel. Think of them like that. Fire them if they're not acting right or they're not giving you whatever, because it's not a one size fit all thing. If it doesn't work out, y'all not meshing, y'all don't have the right rapport or whatever, fire them, find someone else, but be dedicated to your treatment, because it could be discouraging to try this therapist, try that therapist, and keep going. But you really got to act like you're fighting for your life, because you are.
You're fighting for your life.
You are. So be open to therapy. At least try it. And I also say be open to medication. I know I said what I said about my experience with medication, but I know people that's been on medication for a long time and it works for them. So be open to it. Be verbal and vocal as part of your treatment. Don't be a silent participant. These people are hired help. Treat them as such.
Right.
So I would say, first and foremost, therapy, meds as needed. Also, when you go to therapy or to a doctor, the first thing they're going to tell you is you need to exercise, you need to get outside, and you need to eat better. And if that didn't piss me off to no end when I first started going to therapy, it was just like, why everything got to go back to how much I weigh? Like, that's how I felt. It wasn't like a mind thing. It was like, why are we talking about exercising right now? I'm telling you, I'm depressed. I'm pissed off. Now you pissing me off for real. But
it matters.
It matters, and it helps. The moment I would start going outside, going for a walk, getting these endorphins going, getting some sunlight, the importance of sunlight cannot be undermined. Like, It's so important. Break a sweat. Get your heart rate up. It really, really helps. And I know it might be hard to get up off that couch, to get out that chair, to get outside after your long day or whatever. But like whatever you could do, 10, 15, 20 minutes, like it really does make an impactful difference, everybody.
I truly agree because that situation was my lowest 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I just recently went through a form of depression. And with this one, I wouldn't even say it wasn't that dark.
Right.
But I noticed that I'm going through a period of time again where I'm like, I'm not happy. I don't have no interest in anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just low in spirit. And that, again, it's just not me. You gotta, you know how you just know that's not me. So I know something's wrong. And it was going on for months. And literally, one of the things that helped me in that was getting a routine with exercising.
Yep.
And that would be, I would say, the main thing that kind of helped me with that. Like, getting me a routine. Like, now I love the gym. I love the gym. It really helps. Something about exerting that energy really like.
It'll end up being like I had a long day. I had a hard day. I need to go to the gym. Yep.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. It
really feels like you like
not releasing it.
Yes, it feels like it's coming up off.
Yep, coming up off you. Yes, I agree with that. And although you don't want, like you said, you don't want to hear that when you in that moment. It's a reason that they're telling you that. Though.
Right.
So I definitely agree with that. I would definitely say, of course, you know me, I'm always gonna go to God. Like, absolutely, I'm going. Preach it to the world because I can't help it. Like I just have so many testimonies in regards to my faith and how God has literally helped me through so many things. So I would say, whatever you believe in, God, lean heavy in on it, like for real. Because that's one of the ways I would say is good with coping. And then another thing is I believe that isolation for certain people actually works with coping. Yes, you feel, in most cases, when people are depressed, they tend to already isolate themselves. Yeah. But within your isolation, you have to be very careful of what you're thinking and what you're doing in your isolation. I'm the type of person where I know now that I'm an empath. I feel every single thing. It could be a stranger. I could be watching a movie and I am now like feeling literally every single thing. I literally lean in on that. So my thing is I had to come to the terms where I had to set boundaries with that. Like, right. You can't be taking on other people's stuff.
And that's in a way to protect yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't be taking on other people's stuff as much as I was. Like, I felt overwhelmed with other people's issues to the point where it felt like it was happening to me, as well as recharging. When you're isolation, use that time to recharge. Because when you give so much, and not just physically or material, like giving things and that sort, but your energy. When you're giving your energy to so much, you have to recharge sometimes. You do. That's one way that I cope to keep my mental straight. I gotta take a step back because I gotta plug myself in and literally get that battery back up, because if not, I will become overwhelmed. Overwhelmed will tend to make me have anxiety. I'm excessively worrying and fearful of certain things and stuff like that. So I think that's another thing that is a good way to like kind of cope, like literally like just recharge.
Because it's a difference between your depression, isolation, where you're like ostracizing yourself and like covering yourself because you don't want to be seen or you don't want to hear people's opinions and things like that, and what you're saying, because like what you're saying is basically protect yourself, fall back, fall back, give yourself some space, pour into yourself, limit the things that's coming into your space so that you can actually heal and get better, right? Which is different. So isolation or separation can be healthy is what I got out of that.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get through.
Yay. Okay.
So, another thing, self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is very well. That tends to lead from the isolation. I think self-care is very important. With maintaining healthy mental health.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Well, how would you define self-care?
I'd say self-care is a journey. You're always in a motion of self-care or going into and out of it. So self-care to me is all of the hard stuff. It's not anything that I feel like, well, okay, so it can be the stuff that we see on social media and on TV and stuff. It can be your baths and your candlelighting and your massages and getting your hair done or whatever. It can be those things where you're trying to make yourself feel good and spend some time with yourself. But I feel like the nitty gritty to self-care is the difficult stuff that's not talked about enough. Like boundary setting, unlearning, when to say yes and when to say no.
Yes.
Because people always talk about say your no. Your no has a period and it's a complete sentence. Okay, true. You should know when to say no if you don't feel comfortable doing something. But you also have to know yourself enough to know when to say yes. Because you can self-sabotage by not saying yes to the things you're supposed to say yes to. So, like,
being in your own
way. Self-care is getting out of your own way, to make it simple. Stop self-sabotaging yourself. Figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you and move accordingly. Like, that's real self-care because there's balance. So if you working, grinding, dealing with kids, dealing with family, whatever, you do have to have time to be like, you know what, I'm gonna take a bath today. I'm gonna put on some Cleo Soul or whatever you like, and I'm just gonna chill out. Yeah, that's one part of it. But what are you gonna do when that tough situation happens or the thing that triggers you happens? How are you going to practice self-care then? That's the like, I don't even know.
For real, protecting your energy.
Yes,
is a big part of self-care. And I think it's just simply exactly what the word said. I mean,
protect
literally
your energy.
Protect your energy. Self-care to me is literally caring for yourself.
Yes.
And I mean, you could be a mama, you could be whoever you are, whatever hat you wear, take that hat off and literally only show up for yourself in that moment, because that's truly what it is. Caring for yourself. You got to protect your energy. You got to protect things that make you seem outside of yourself. Whatever is not right. Like, whenever something shake you up, you feel some type of way, listen to that. I'm all about listening to gut intuitions and things of that sort. You got to know what triggers you. You got to know
what brings out a lower version of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And setting boundaries is a great way to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Because without boundaries, people are all types of stuff are trying to
get into you.
Get
into your space, even your loved ones' spaces, your household. Like, you really gotta determine, like, this is what I'm not gonna deal with. These are the types of people that I want to deal with. These are the types of spaces I want to be in. These are the energies I want to be in. So yes, that's very, very important. Boundary setting with self-care. Because, and also remember, I know this is a social media world or whatever, but I think it's very important to remember that social media, sometimes you got to stay away from social media as part of your self-care. Because that's one of the main things I turn to. Like, anytime I feel like I'm off balance, the first thing that goes is social media.
Gotta go. I need a break.
Done.
You know me. I immediately get up off that thing
because
quick.
We both are empaths.
Yes.
I'm an overthinker. So I'm absorbing all of these statuses and all of these thoughts that people have. I'm thinking about it even when I'm not on it. And I'm overstimulated. So I think a part of self-care could be reducing stimuli, whatever that means for you. Turn the TV off, get off the phone, whatever that means for you. Don't go out, just shut it down. Shut it down.
So we talked about showing up for yourself. So how do you show up for others?
I think we just need to Pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice that somebody's off or different, especially for a long period of time, ask them what's going on. Stop by their house. Just pay attention to it, because it's always the smaller things. Are they not eating as much? Are they eating a lot more? And do it in the capacity that you're able to, because we're not always able to give our full selves to someone, even if we want to or whatever. But like, check in on your friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Essentially.
And create a safe space.
Yes.
For your loved ones. Like, you got to create that space for them to be able to even bring it up to you.
A no judgment zone. I always say, be a friend to your friend. And I mean that in like whether it's your actual friend, whether you're your friend to your family member, whatever, your friend to your child, be a friend to them. They don't need your criticism. They don't need you to tell them what to do next. They don't need that all the time. Show up by just being a friend to them. Be a safe space. Be a nurturer. Just be there. Show up.
Show up, and don't take it lightly. If you notice people off, pay attention. And if you notice that your loved ones, friends, are off, really don't take it lightly, because we see too many times where people have taken their lives, and you don't want that. We don't want nobody taking their lives.
No.
Like, we don't need no more of that.
It's quite frequent,
and it's very serious. Like, do not take it lightly. This is very serious. People battle with a lot of things by themselves and feel like there's no hope and no way out, and just even knowing somebody cares could be that turning point for someone. So just don't take it lightly, and really just make sure you show up for your loved ones in that way.
Absolutely. Just check in.
So
essentially,
to end this off, what would you tell your teenage self in regards to mental health?
Teenage self, I would tell her to find an outlet and push that, whatever that is. If you're gonna write, you're gonna be an artist, you're gonna whatever. Find an outlet, a place where you can actually express yourself, because there's too many of us adults that never found an outlet. So if you find it earlier in life, that could actually help you not feel so caged in. What do you think?
I agree. I would go into a little deeper than that. I actually said speak it out loud. And the reason I say that is find someone you trust, because as a teenager, we think we got it all figured out, but
we do.
The adults, they
know a little something.
They know a little something. They know the resources. They know how to help you in ways that you don't even know. So I would tell my teenage self to talk to someone. Actually talk to someone. What would you tell your 20-something Brittany?
20-year-old Brittany, I would say you cannot do this by yourself. You're a thinker, a planner, blah, 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 but you need your higher source. You need God. You cannot navigate this world alone. Lean in and give it all to him, because I truly believe you have to lean out on your own understanding in order to navigate this world.
I 100% agree. 100%. That's exactly what I would tell my 20-something self, because I could not be here today had I not leaned on God. So, absolutely. And another thing, take your pride out of it. Sometimes we get too prideful. Take your pride out of it, because this is life or death. It gets that deep.
Your pride has no place
dark, and it gets that dark. And I know some people don't like to ask for help or anything of that sort. You gotta release that, because we talking about our lives here.
Yes.
And this world just keep getting crazier, and it's yeah. Like, you're not alone. You are not alone. If anybody is dealing with mental health issues right now, you are not alone.
You're not. We are here. If you ever want to reach out to us on any of our platforms or on our social media accounts, we are here to talk, discuss, give advice, just be a listening ear. It will stay completely private and anonymous if needed. Like we are here. Like it is important to us to help each other and to make sure that no one feels like they are by themselves, because you are not.
You are not alone. You are not alone. You just heard our stories. Like it's a
You're not alone. You're important. You are needed.
there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It really is.
It's hard to see sometimes, but it's there. Cope, talk. There's a hotline that I found. It's you can text or call. It's a suicide hotline where they have mental health professionals, and it is 988. So the number for mental health professionals is a suicide hotline. You can call or text is 988, and we will have that information on the screen at the end of this episode as well.
All right. I think we wrapped that up. So again, Mental Health Awareness Month. Check on your loved ones.
Check on everybody.
Check on everybody, right.
Talk. If there's anything you need to say, let it out. Don't hold it in. Seek therapy. Be open to medication. Go outside. Exercise. Meditate. Take care of yourself, because my grandfather taught me that if you love yourself, you take care of yourself. So show up. Show up for yourself and show up for everybody you love. And I think we are a wrap.
All right, y'all. We love y'all.
Love y'all.
See y'all on the next episode. Bye.